The evolution of your marketing will be the catalyst for the evolution of your business, and the evolution of your business will provide you with the freedom to focus on the evolution of your life. This is Evolved Marketing with Andre and Brian. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Evolved Marketing Podcast. My name is Brian Brewer, along with my co-host, as always, Andre Germachev, and today's special guest. Now, today's special guest has been following me for a little while, since 2020. So that was always kind of cool to get to meet and interview folks who got their start thanks to your content. Today's guest has also seen some incredible fast results as of late. So I think that'll be really interesting to get into, because she's been at least dabbling in affiliate marketing for, well, let's just say since 2020, but the last few months have been really incredible. So hopefully we'll get some insight into maybe what's changed or what shift she had either in strategy or mindset. But regardless, this is going to be another fantastic episode. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome Jill Bender to the podcast. Welcome, Jill.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
We are so excited for you to join us today. And Brian mentioned that you started in 2020, right? So what made you start in the first place?
Like many people that do something online, I tried drop shipping in 2017, and I had one experience that kind of ruined the whole thing. One, I was running out of money because it does cost some money. But I had a customer who they received the products, but one, it was a pizza oven, like assembly kit that came with bricks and stones and this whole thing. And it was, I think, like $2,000. So it wasn't a cheap kit. One of his stones were cracked, and he withheld my money, which I had to give the company to send him the product. So now don't have this money. He's like, well, one of the bricks is cracked. I'm like, well, we'll replace the brick. Why are you holding my money? He said, well, I figured you'll take action faster. And that whole experience ruined me. Like, no, I don't want to deal with customers that closely. I don't want them holding my money. So I sold that business. Luckily, I was able to. And then I didn't really do much. And I remember hearing about affiliate marketing during that time, but I was like, that one sounds too good to be true. That doesn't even sound real, I think around 2020 is when I started looking again, and I started seeing more videos, like with Brian and a couple others. And so a $7 course at the time, and $7 courses are really good at just giving you enough to make you feel like you're getting somewhere, but not really giving you enough to get anywhere, just confusing you more. So I dealt with that for a while, actually a long while. I think I bought that course in the middle of 2020, and it wasn't until the next year I went viral on a TikTok channel, but it wasn't for making money. It was a walking channel, and I was just walking in the videos, and I was motivating people, and I had people writing to me all the time, that they're so excited that they've been walking every day and they love my content. And I think that's when I saw hope, and I was like, okay, I just went, I went to 30 some thousand followers almost overnight with that. So I kind of kept that running, and I tried making money with Amazon affiliate, but I really didn't know how to do that properly, and Amazon kept shutting me down. And I was getting very frustrated. So at the end of 2021, I was introduced to a mentor, and I joined his program. And Andre, that's when I started to know who you were. And I thought that was going to be the ticket, but in almost 8 months' time, I made 3 sales, and that was definitely way too slow for me. And so last year, 2022, it was in the summer again, and I sat there going, I know how to do all of the stuff that everybody's been teaching me, and I've been practicing it, and it's not working. I need something different. I need a different method other than this very slow method that I've been taught. And so then I was another guy from our same program. I saw a video and he was talking about Instagram and how if you can make it on Instagram and if you have a large following, then you can literally print money. So I started looking at that and I'm like, that's the change I need. That is the something different that I need. And I was already good at making videos, short content videos. So I did that. And within 2 weeks of practicing these new methods, I went from, I think I had 8,000 followers on my affiliate marketing TikTok channel. And in 2 weeks, it was at 49,000 followers. And it was a huge growth very quickly. I flooded my funnel with over 2,000 leads in those 2 weeks. But I still wasn't following all of the methods that I was taught. And I was making money now, but it was maybe one, like a sale a month. And so December, I sat back and I'm like, okay, I paid this guy to teach me Instagram and I still hadn't really grown Instagram. And I'm like, what am I missing? I need to look at these tools again. There's something that I'm just ignoring. And it really was me. I was the problem the whole time. So talk about mindset, that it was me. And so I sat there in December and I kind of wrote down everything that he was telling me, and I was listening to it all again. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not even doing half of these things. January, I started implementing everything, and I started getting really consistent, and it didn't take long. It literally went from like February, the beginning of February, I started just getting sale after sale after sale, and middle of February, I was at like $40,000 already, and it was just, February is a great month. Very exciting.
Yeah, you told us before the podcast went live that February was a $57,000 month, which is absolutely incredible. Congratulations. And because it's nothing more than time invested and an affiliate product that you don't have to fulfill on, that's profit.
Yep.
Yep. That's awesome.
Yep.
So we are going to pull at you today, and I wrote down a headline as you were talking that says exact Instagram strategy. And I put some bullets down for me to take notes in just a moment, because you said you wrote everything down and then you started implementing and you saw massive results. So we're going to get into that and try to pull as much information out of you as possible in a moment. First, I want to go back, not to the beginning, but I want to go back to that walking channel, as you called it. And when you had a video go viral, there was really no plan in place to monetize. There wasn't really any money made from that particular viral video. However, one could argue that that was the exact inflection point or the shift that changed everything. And like you said, it was the belief. So if you could share with the listeners how the non-monetary belief helped you, or how you use that non-monetary result to kind of help you move forward.
Well, to be fair, when I was trying to go viral, I thought I could make money from TikTok, but then I learned quickly they pay you pennies. So I wasn't really making any money from TikTok. My shift in belief, I guess, yeah, when I went viral, I think a lot of us, we start these things and we're like, okay, yeah, it's going to happen. But then we also in the back of our head are like, well, it's not happening yet. And so you just get comfortable in the not happening zone. And you kind of just think, well, that's me. And that's where you kind of just hang out for a long time. So yeah, when I went viral, I was like, okay, I don't have to sit in that comfort zone of not getting anywhere. Now I know that anybody really truly can do this, and anybody really truly can go viral and can somehow make money from this. I didn't understand how to make the money part happen for me. Yeah, but it definitely made me start looking for ways to monetize off of that success.
Yeah.
And like I said, so I tested Amazon because that was the easiest one. And I didn't know how to do it at all. I did make $200 in the first month off of it, but then they shut me down.
Oh no. And then when you started that walking channel, what was the goal? Do you have like a goal in mind or you were just doing that to like stay motivated or stay consistent?
Yeah, it was originally it was to keep me consistent with walking. Like if I'm putting this on social media, it's gonna make me walk. I have to show up every day. But when you only have, a couple hundred people following you, it's not that motivating to keep it going. And I remember it was one day I was outside walking and I'm like, all right, I'm going to give myself a challenge. And it was a 100-day challenge. I'm like, I'm going to challenge myself. I'll put it on my TikTok channel that I challenge myself to walk for 100 days, no matter what. It was like, whatever. I came up with 3 rules, that I had to stick to. And so I shot several different angles of myself walking. I cut it, edited, and I put the 3 rules. And I really posted that video as, here are my 3 rules. This is what I'm doing. And I did not think about anybody else really when I posted it. I just was putting it out to hold myself accountable. And then that video went crazy. And it was funny because when I opened my phone, I had posted the video at, I think, 3:00. And then at 7:00, I opened my phone and I saw all of these, like the little numbers on there. I think it goes like 99 plus or whatever when you have your followers. And I saw all these comments and everything. I'm like, whose account am I looking at right now? I had no idea it was my own. I was so confused. And yeah, and it was just people that were like, I'm going to do this 100-day challenge with you. I'm going to do the challenge. And everybody just loved the idea of the challenge and the simple rules that I'd created around it. So
it's amazing that you just were sharing your journey. And that's relevant to everything on social media. Sometimes when people start affiliate marketing, the number one question they have is, how do I promote an education program for affiliate marketing, for example, if I don't have the results? And the answer is simple: share your journey. Well, you just showed how magnetic that can be. Like, what were some of the comments that you got? You already said, I want to do this too, but was that kind of the gist of it? Like, I want to be a part of that too?
Yeah, a lot of people, to my surprise, never even get up off their couch to do anything. So some people were asking me, they're like, I can't even make it to my mailbox. And I said, well, then make that your goal for the first week or 2. Walk to your mailbox every single day. Like, start small. I'm not asking you to just get out there and run a marathon. You have to start small. And that's what a lot of people just started small with. My stipulation on my rules, one of them was you had to walk at least 15 minutes. And people commented like, you can't even, do anything. What's the health benefits of 15 minutes? I'm like, they can be huge. If you only have 15 minutes before that's all you got in the day to make it work. I wanted it to be something that even on the busiest day, you could still find 15 minutes to move. And for so many people, it turned into, I was only doing 15 minutes and now I'm doing 30 minutes. And now I hit my 100-day goal and stuff like that. It was really cool to watch.
Yeah, and that goes to show you that consistency eventually will get you results, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now let's fast forward to your Instagram account. When did you create that Instagram account? The one that was stuck at like 1,000 followers for a while.
It was actually stuck at less than 1,000 for a long time. I started that Instagram probably I don't know. We'll just say in 2021.
Okay.
But
So it probably
probably,
took 2 years for it to
yeah.
for it to blow up. But during those 2 years, you were still posting every single day. You were still being active?
Uh-uh.
No.
I was not consistent at all. I was just throwing up a video here or there. And I had under 100 followers for almost that whole time. And then I want to say even last year, probably close to December, I didn't have very many more followers than that. I
Yeah.
had definitely under 500, probably under 200.
Wow. So now
Yeah.
let's talk about these new methods that you started implementing. So what can you say that is like the best method that you started implementing that which led your account to grow to like over 200,000 followers?
The first one is consistency. I started posting at least twice a day, every single day. That was a huge one for me.
And those were
Um,
reels also shared to your post feed or something else?
Those are reels. And I did one reel and one post every day.
Okay.
That was a big one. I started sharing my story more. You know, people want to know, like, and trust you. And I started putting more of that out there to let people, you know, see who I am.
So, what kind of things did you share before we continue on and fill out the bullet points? Because that is obviously something that people struggle with, especially when they're brand new. Like, whether it's they don't think they have a story, they're uncomfortable talking about themselves, or they think no one will care. Kind of take
Yeah.
us through what you did when you were sharing your story, if you could.
That is very hard because I definitely did. I was like, I'm just so normal of a person. What do I have? But and other people that are in this space that I, would talk with kind of daily, and they're like, "Oh, you have such a great story." I'm like, "Really? Tell me about it," because I have no idea what my story is. And they teach, like, everybody kind of teaches you, start talking about your story and you will develop your story over time. But the things I knew about myself, I'm a single mom. Okay, that didn't really seem that exciting to me. But the amount of people, once I started posting that I'm a single mom, so many people are like, "Hey, single mom to single mom, does this work? How did you do it?" Stuff like that. So that just being a single mom was a huge one. You go for a walk. People like fitness. They see you out doing normal things. If you have an animal, and then people relate to you that you have a dog or a cat or whatever. I have a dog. Um, just stuff that you just don't even think is your story becomes your story.
It's
Yeah.
just
There's
like
always
whatever
somebody out there.
somebody can connect to, right? Like I call them
Yeah.
connecting words. And you have to implement those. Like you said, single mom, that's 2 words, yet it creates a huge bond.
Mhm.
Dog lovers, I try to say, I always try to say I'm from Texas because there's a lot of people in Texas, and it's like, go tell, hey, one Texan to another, does this really work?
People in Texas love Texas.
Yeah. One of my favorite things that I've ever heard is, Texans love Texas like Kanye loves Kanye. It's one of the favorite memes that I've ever seen. It's true. But yes, all right. So that's helpful. What else? I know there's more, right? You said you wrote it down. Let me write it down.
I just try to be helpful. I provide content that I think will help people. And it's not really about how can I make money? It's about how can I empower other people to see that there are so many opportunities out there to make money. And that's huge. And some of the opportunities that I talk about on my channel, I haven't necessarily done them all. And I'm completely honest about that. I will tell them, you know what? I haven't tried that one. My goal is to empower you with the information, and it's up to you to pick the one that you think is going to fit you best. And, you know, and I don't even have more information on it. And I tell them, go look at YouTube and find videos that will give you better details on it. But that, I think that's been my main goal, is empowering people with knowledge that they have so many options out there.
Do you use, I guess you can say, do you use your failures as a type of content as well? For example, because you invested in the $7 course, and then you invested in a different course. I'm guessing it was MCS, if it was.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a big price point to join that program. It's like it's $6,000 to join that program, which I also joined once. Did you ever talk about those fail experiences with your content nowadays?
Sometimes in my story posts, I will mention that that total for last year, I had spent about $10,000 trying to learn. I was in a $3,000 paid ads course, prior to MCS. So yeah, I will mention that I'm actually not really that great at sharing my struggles, and I do try to remember to remind people that I did start in different places. But yeah, I will mention that typically I've spent X amount of dollars trying to learn this already, and now I found, the methods that work the best. But yeah, that's
And then when
that's
you're educating your audience nowadays, can you say that, are you taking a little bit out of every program that you learned before, or you're just focusing on that program that you are right now?
I generally focus on the program that I'm in now, just because it's such a different method. And yes, I've learned a lot over the last couple of years, and I'm sure a lot of those methods are spilling over. And I would say the one that stands out the most would be having conversations, in the DMs with people. And I'm much more comfortable having those conversations, as before you're kind of getting a script from whoever gave you the training, and it felt weird and unnatural. And the biggest difference is once you've gone viral and you have a lot of success behind you, the conversations become different, because everybody's wants your information, and you don't necessarily need them to continue your success. So it's kind of, here's my completely honest information, and you can take it and do whatever you want with it. And so it's different conversations, and it's.
Can you maybe
much
just give
better.
us like a short example or idea of what a conversation in the DMs might look like before you had success, and then what they look like now that you've had, $57,000 months or a $57 month? How did that change? And what do those look like?
Before, I would post something on Facebook, and it would be like, hey, comment how down below. And then if somebody commented how, I would say, hey, I'll send you a DM. And then I send them a DM. And those conversations were almost always very quick and didn't go very far. It was like, here's what you asked for. And they almost never came back to me. Or if they did, like I said, it was always short. Didn't really get me anywhere. Now somebody asks for information, I give them the information, and there's a good, I don't know the number, but there's a good percentage that do come back with more questions. And I tell them, like, ask me questions. Please watch this video, but come back and ask me anything that you want to ask me. And now that I've been doing this for a while, and now that I know how to get the success, I have answers, whereas before I didn't really. I had what I thought were answers, but now I actually know answers. And then I don't want to say that I ever was dishonest before, but because a lot of it wasn't success that I had, it was always me trying to make myself sound like I was successful without lying. And now I have been successful, so everything is much easier to talk about. And I I always try to be truthful no matter what. It's just me. But I think I'm even more truthful now because I can give them a little bit more detail. And like yesterday, somebody asked me if she already had seen the program, but she couldn't afford it. And then she messaged me and she said, I think I'm going to take a course at the community college. Here's the 2 names of the courses. Which one do you recommend? I'm like, they have affiliate marketing courses at a college, which was very interesting to me. And I said, here's what I can tell you. And he said, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This is me just talking to you right now. I said, most likely the information you're going to get from that course is the same information you'll get from a $7 program. They said they are going to be very broad. Here's the kind of things you need to do, and you're not really going to walk out knowing how to do any of it. And so she thanked me 1,000 times for the honesty. And I said, again, I'm not pushing you to buy my program. That is my honest opinion on what you're asking me. And so, it's just stuff like that. Like, I'm not trying to get people to, maybe I could be more aggressive, but I've definitely never.
But you
Never
really
pushy
helped her.
about
I mean,
anything.
even if it's just the amount of time you saved her from going through that community course class, which may have been 8 weeks, may have been 12 weeks, who knows, right? That's a lot of time wasted. I mean, you've seen over the last 3 months a tremendous amount of success, and that just shows you what can happen in 12 weeks.
Right.
And it definitely gets easier, especially because at first you said that you didn't know how to answer to people in a way.
Mhm.
But now that you have gotten some wins, like let's say your first high ticket commission, you start documenting those things, and your audience will definitely get feed off of that basically. And then that's how you're gonna learn how to communicate with them. And it's just a learning experience. At first, I didn't know how to communicate with people either. Like I blew up on TikTok. I was getting so many comments, so many messages, and I did not know how to talk to them.
Mhm.
So it definitely gets easier over time and over time. One more thing that I want to touch on is let's just get a little technical now for a little bit. Where are you creating your content? Are you using the TikTok platform, or do you have somebody maybe edit the content for you?
Now I do. I do have someone that edits my videos now. Prior to that, I pretty much created them all in TikTok and then downloaded them and then put them on Instagram, which made it harder for me to be consistent with Instagram because I do work full time. And then, like I said, I'm a single mom. My son is only 6, so it's not like he's super independent. And him being an only child makes him even less independent, I think. Because I'm the only one here. Well, who do you want me to play with, Mom? I'm like, I don't know. Those single kids like go play by themselves. They don't. Yeah, my time is so limited during the day that just downloading it off of TikTok and then putting it on Instagram just took up too much time for me. So I did hire a VA and she worked part-time, and I was just very specific. I was like, can you edit 7 videos a week for me? And she's like, yes, I can. And that's what we started with. And it was huge, 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 huge help. And it really, and then I was able to be more consistent. And plus she can create some of those cooler videos that I can't.
Do you if you're creating 7 videos, let's say, you might be doing more now, but if you're creating 7 videos a week, do you batch that? Do you sit down for an hour and record all 7 videos and send them off to the editor, or do you do them daily, or it just depends?
It depends. For when I was really hustling to just figure out why I wasn't succeeding on Instagram, I was spending almost every Friday, like all night. And my son typically will stay at a friend's house on Friday night. Like my friend likes to take him on Fridays, so that's my only day. And so yeah, I would sit there and create content and record, and I usually I'll record this whole video, but then I'll go in and I'll edit to cut out the long pauses or the goof ups before I even send it to her. I make it very simple. Like, I just need you to put words on this and make it look cool, and here you go. But also writing the caption and the hashtags and all that stuff. So yeah, I tried to do it on Fridays, and then I started getting a little sloppier, and I do it in between the
And do you upload
also.
it? Does she send it back to you and you upload it, or is your VA uploading it for you as well and adding the captions and stuff that you created?
She's uploading for Instagram for me. That also helped with my consistency. It's like make me 7 videos and then please put them on for me.
I mean, that's the best thing you can do. If you're not good at something, have somebody do it for you, right? Like,
Yeah, so it's helped so much. That was probably part of my big win for Instagram, was because she could be consistent for me, and having her help me with the edits.
Where do you get your video ideas?
Where do
Yeah.
I just watch other people's videos and get ideas from that stuff that I like.
so now so you're a single mom. You work a full-time job,
Mhm.
and now you have found this success online.
Mhm.
What's next? Are you gonna maybe quit your full-time job? Are you gonna take this on full-time?
Yeah,
Talk to us about it.
that's eventually the plan. I do like my job, so I'm having a having a dilemma with that. But I want more time to create more videos, and I do love making videos. I love talking on the camera. Like when I was doing it on Fridays, just all day, I'm just recording videos. I was getting obsessed with it. And then when I wasn't doing a video, I'm like, oh, I just want to like go make more videos. I know it was getting to that point. It's like I just want to record videos all day.
But it's exciting.
Yeah,
It's exciting when you get like the first viral video, and then you're like I don't wanna, like, you're living your life, right? Maybe you're watching TV or something, and then out of nowhere you get energy to create another video, right? And then you just keep going and start feeding off of that. So that happens to me. So I use that for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely like it. Yeah, but my job for sure takes up a lot of my time that I would, if I could put that into my business, I think, I mean, sky's the limit with the online business anyway.
So
but
let's look forward a little bit then and just pretend for a minute here. Let's say you did decide, hey, I'm going to quit my job, and you're working probably at least 40 hours a week there. So that frees up an additional 40 hours a week for your business. What do you do now that if you could do more of, you think you would make a lot more money?
I would definitely have more videos. There's been several weeks now that I've told my editor or my VA, I've told her a couple weeks, I'm like, hey, we just need to repurpose videos because I didn't get anything for you this week. This week was nuts. And next week I'm going to be in Disney, so I know I'm not going to be doing anything, like literally anything. Maybe recording a couple, but they'll be just short ones and probably story posts. But so yeah, she's had to repurpose stuff. So I would have more time to really focus on keeping consistent with having enough content for the week. I would have extra content because I've only post twice a day, and I could definitely do at least 3 times a day. I'm trying to build up some more TikTok channels. Never have too many TikTok channels, I feel like. And then I want to start growing my YouTube channel because I do upload all those, or I actually have her upload 1 video a day, which is the same video from Instagram, but it's just a short, and I have her do that. But I have done some full, like 10-minute videos on YouTube in the past. And God, when I watch those now, I'm like, they're terrible.
You gotta get the first ones out of the way. I looked like a hostage in my first couple of YouTube videos. Just standing there like this, talking deadpan to the camera. What I noticed is, earlier in the show here today, you started talking about, the DMs and stuff like that, and how the strategy has changed from before you saw success to after you saw success. And then when I asked you if you had more time, where would you focus your energy? And it was all content, more content, more videos, more channels, go onto YouTube. So with that, and I could be wrong, but that leads me to believe that really the DM strategy that you're using now, it doesn't really stress you out. It doesn't really take a lot of your time. If that's true, what are you doing to streamline this? Because I think that is what's daunting to a lot of people, is like, so many messages.
Oh my God. Yeah, in February, I had just thousands and thousands that came in. So I currently have my VA. She will send the initial like same response that I would send to anybody. Here's what you're asking for. And then anybody that replies to that, I personally respond to them. And I don't know if I'm ready to change that because she has offered. She's like, can you give me some standard scripts that I can reply to certain things? And I said, I really like the personal touch that comes when it comes from me. And so I really haven't let her do anything else. I don't know if it would get any more unmanageable than it had been in February. I mean, I thousands. I was so many weeks behind by the time I got to the end of that list, and it was with her help of her just shooting out those, initials. But yeah, I don't know if I would change that yet. I'm not ready to give that to anybody because I do, like I said, I enjoy talking with the people now, and I like the personal touch that it has coming from me directly.
Yeah. Another great platform for messaging people is Facebook. Have you had any success on Facebook at all, or have any active messages out there?
No, Facebook has been a little slower. So I usually if I have somebody that really needs to keep communicating with me, I'm like, send me a message on Facebook, because on Instagram it goes down that line and sometimes I can't find them again. Like, oh my God. You know what else I would get better at is recording people's information so I can follow up with them later. I'm absolutely terrible with follow-ups. Like terrible. I almost never do it. So that would be one thing that I would for sure improve. And I even I will record the person's name, like follow up with that person, and then I never do. It's so bad.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because you mentioned follow up, right? How's the email marketing campaigns looking like? Like, are you actively emailing your list as well?
I am, yeah. I have automated emails that go out every day, but then I do go in and I will send an extra email out every day.
So you're
that's a way
adding
of following up.
emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're adding emails to still reach the people who maybe finished your automated email sequence. That way they see you daily, and I'm sure that's huge, right? Like, how important is that to your sustained success?
Yeah, that is huge. And you're right, Andre. That is a form of following up. I'm not good at following up in the DMs, I guess.
So now to I guess finish off this interview, you are a person that has invested in yourself multiple times. What advice can you give somebody that is right there about to invest in themselves?
My advice is absolutely go for it. People say, well, what if it doesn't work? And I kind of just say, what if it does? You have no idea if it's going to work or not. Like, what if it does work? Imagine. He said, I'm going to Disney next week. It's all paid in full. I just bought a $3,000 bicycle over the weekend. It's all paid in full. I just paid off my car. Like, so many cool things happen in such a short period of time. It said it's absolutely go for it. It's worth it. And the other thing that I tell people is, if you want it to work, then you have to 100% tell yourself that it's going to work. And so if you have any doubts, it's probably not going to work. He said, just tell yourself right now it's going to work and you're going to make it work. Because that's what I did. Like, I'm not going to stop. It's going to happen. And you kind of just have to mentally commit to it as well.
Yeah, if it works, if you work. And as a past guest said, Phil Koberger, I don't remember what number he was, but he was a great story. So that's one worth watching after this one. But basically he said, hard work works. It's pretty much that simple. I mean, this isn't magic. This isn't, it's just a business, and hard work works. Well, I'm really excited to hear that you're going to Disney, and I'm even more excited to hear that you paid for it ahead of time. And it made me think of Andre's story. You know, we talk about developing your story. As you keep telling your story develops. And that's huge. And when I first met Andre in person, it was at the Legendary Marketer Mastermind. And he went into his story about his honeymoon that was all paid for with credit cards. And then he talked about the stress of, obviously had a great time, but the stress of coming home after the vacation. Now you got to worry about it. And he told the story so well that even though he wasn't selling anything, I wanted to buy something from him at that point. It was amazing. But for you, I mean, the fact that you can pay for your Disney vacation ahead of time, that's something we started doing a couple of years ago. Is we prepay all our vacations. We just went to the Bahamas and it was paid for in advance. And when you get there, it's like, wow, vacation is pretty inexpensive when everything's paid for ahead of time. And you come home and the vacation is over and you don't have to worry about the bills. It just changes the game. So for anyone on the fence, you know, what if it does work, right? It's pretty incredible.
You know what? And this other, I haven't made this a story yet, and I should, is that before I went viral, I had invested in myself many times, but I also knew the kind of lifestyle that I wanted to live, and I was swiping my credit card to live that lifestyle, even though I didn't have enough money coming in. And in January, I think I have 5 credit cards. Every single one of them was just at the max. And I almost wasn't even able to make the minimum payment. They were all so incredibly high. And it was just a juggling act. I'm like, oh my God, I'm drowning. Like, I have no backup anymore. They're not giving me another credit card. Nobody's giving me anything. And I've been watching my credit score just tank. Every couple of weeks it updates again. I'm like, all right, let's see how low it is now. And it just continued to go lower and lower. I'm like, oh my God, like, you need to either stop spending all this money or make this work. And I, of course, chose to make this work because there was no way I was going to stop spending money.
I was just going to say, I don't think it's coincidental that you saw the success at once your back hit the wall, because before that, you know, you probably were just too comfortable because, hey, I'll just charge it and I'll get what I want without the work. And and I'm not picking on you. We've all been there, you know. But when your back is against the wall, guess what? You made it work.
That's right. And I forgot to mention, just paid in full for my vacation next February. When you mentioned the Bahamas, I'm going to Little Exuma with a bunch of people, and I already paid for a portion of the house. I just bought a first class ticket to fly down there. Yeah.
That's
and
amazing.
I'm super excited. But I'm like, wow, I just paid for the majority of that trip. I don't really need to do anything or even worry about it. But when I knew I was going to go on that trip, I had until July of this year to like put the payment, to like give it to the person who booked it. And all I was thinking was, I don't even have that room on the credit card. All of my paycheck has been going to my credit card. I'm like, oh my God, July's going to come and I'm going to be the freaking loser that can't even give them my portion of the house. And like, and I'm going to be so embarrassed to tell them, you know what, I can't go. But I was the first one to make the payment, and I'm the first one to buy my flight, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, this was a extremely successful story that we love hearing people like this. It gets us excited. This is why we do this. And yeah, we appreciate your time. This has been a great interview.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we really do. Thank you
so
very much. One thing we always like to do to show our appreciation is offer you the opportunity to turn the tables. If there are any questions that you want to ask of us, please feel free and let us know.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't come prepared with any questions. I do have one question for you, Brian. Do you have your own program that you promote, or do you okay, you do. You know what, I probably have been in your email list before, now that I think about it. No, I really don't have any questions. I do want to know, can I take a picture for my story post?
Yeah,
course.
absolutely. And please do. And I will tell you, I do have my own program now, but I will say that I had a very successful
Amen.
affiliate marketing business back in 2017, 2018. And instead of continuing with that, I tried to create my own programs back then. And I successfully crushed a business that was consistently doing $50,000 plus months to the point where I was
Crushed it.
making, like less than $5,000 a month, meaning bad, crushed it in a bad way.
Yeah.
So then in 2020, I went back to full-time affiliate marketing, saw a lot of success, and then realized, okay, I'll do it this time, but I know what to do the right way. So I just recommend sticking with affiliate marketing. If I could give any advice, is just stick with what's working. Don't get bored. And if you do get
Yeah.
bored, embrace the boring and just stick with what works. It'll work for a lot longer than you think it will.
It's a pretty incredible business.
Thank you so much, Jill. It was nice meeting you, and we hope that success keeps going and going and going.
Thank you. Great to meet you guys. This is fun.
It was great to meet you. Thanks again. Thanks to everyone who listened in, and we'll see you all on the next episode of the Evolved Marketing Podcast.